Hey, what up, what up, what up? It's Khalid Nathan Aleem, the real estate boy. Welcome to, what is it, Wednesday? Welcome to this hump day. Today, I'm going to be going over an article. Let's see if I agree or I disagree with it. Of course, it's a real estate article because I'm Khalid, the real estate boy. This is an article. Let's see where this article is from. Inflation in the housing market, what buyers and sellers should consider. So what we're going to talk about today is what buyers should consider when buying a home and when sellers should consider when selling a home. So this is an article by this guy, Zach Richard, and we're going to see, does Khalid agree with him or he doesn't agree with him? All right, let's take a look. So the author here says what to consider when you buy a home. So right now I'm talking to all my buyers. What should you consider when you're buying a home? According to this guy, Zach, what he says is, even in this crazy market, you can still snag a great home if you play your cards right and make sure the numbers work for you. It's especially important to get pre-approved for a mortgage before setting out to look for homes. And make a big down payment, make as big of a down payment as possible to show sellers you're serious and your financials are sound. Okay, I agree with half of this, all right? What I agree with is that you should get a pre-approval. This is something that I've been saying over and over and over and over. Before you go and get a home or start looking for a home, the first thing that you need to do is get your finances in straight. What does that mean? You need to get a pre-approval. If you're paying with a loan, how much money is the bank going to approve you for, or the mortgage company? So this is the first thing that you should do. If you're paying cash, you already know what you have in your bank account, so you know what you can spend. In here, I think he's making a mistake here when he says make a big down payment. All right, make a big down payment as possible. I think he's getting some of the language mixed up, because what he wants to say, I think, is to make a big earnest money deposit. So when you go to buy a home, there's an earnest money deposit that you have to put down. If you're buying, just say, a $200,000 house, it can be $4,000, $5,000. That's around customary, or $1,000. But that money that you put down is going towards your closing costs and your down payment at the end of the transaction. But this money is so you can have some skin in the game. Because if this money wasn't here, then somebody can put contracts on this house, this house, this house, this house, this house, this house, and they wouldn't be required to bring any money until they went to settlement. This would be a problem, a big problem. So within this home buying transaction, there's an earnest money deposit that you must put down. Now, the more that you put down, the more serious you look to the seller. So for example, if I'm buying a house, it's $200,000 house, a $200,000 house. If I have a person, if I'm selling it, okay, I'm the seller's realtor. If I'm selling it and I have a buyer, everything else is equal, but I have a buyer who's going to put down $5,000 toward this $200,000 house, or I have another buyer who's looking to put $50,000 down. I know that one who's putting the $50,000, he has more skin in the game. Now, there are a lot of contingencies within the contract where the person can get their earnest money deposit back. There's a mortgage contingency. So if you put that $50,000 down and you don't get the mortgage, then you get the money back. There's a bunch of contingencies. There's a home inspection contingency. So if you put the $50,000, like in my example, down, and you go through the home inspection and you don't like anything, and you just want to back out within a certain amount of time, which is your due diligence time, you can back out and get your money back. But that money isn't lost. That money isn't lost. That money is given to the seller's realtor. In the example, me, we hold it in escrow. And what happens is at the end of the home buying process, I bring that money to the settlement and give it to the settlement agent or the title company, and they put it towards your down payment. This guy here is saying to make as big a down payment as possible. And again, when you're talking about loans, the down payments, for example, in a FHA is 3.5%. That's the money from the lender that you're putting down. All right, so let's go to pros. So this guy says he gives two pros for buying a house at this time. What he says is mortgage rates have never been lower. You may have to pay more for your house. You may have to pay, what is he saying here? You have to pay more for your house. Okay, yes, you have to pay more for your house than you like to, but your borrowing costs will be lower. So you may be able to afford that bigger loan without stretching too much. What he's saying here is true. With mortgage rates being at an all-time low, your money is going to go further, but at the same time, the house might be a little bit more expensive. So with a bigger loan, without stretching too much, you may be able to afford that bigger house. All right. What's the second thing that he's saying? He's saying, although home prices are high, most experts say this current housing cycle should not be a repeat of 2008, when the bursting bubble triggered a great recession. If you buy now, you may see some short-term losses if you try to sell the property again too soon, but there shouldn't be a huge wave of foreclosures like there was a little bit over a decade ago. So here he's saying some people are thinking that this is going to be like the Great Recession in 2008. It's not. Okay, my opinion is that it's not, because it's not the same setup. That recession in 2008 was built on a bunch of loans that were given to people who couldn't qualify. I wasn't in the real estate industry per se at that time, but I was a stockbroker at that time. So I had a lot of mortgage friends. You had places like Countrywide where, and I'm exaggerating, but they say if you put a mirror under a person's nose and you saw that they were alive, they would give you a loan. I mean, they had these things called no-doc loans where you just had to state what your income was and they were giving you a loan. So the black swan for that mortgage, for that Great Recession or that housing crash, was because that was built or predicated on a bunch of mortgages given to people who couldn't qualify. Well, of course, after that, the mortgage, what's the word I'm looking for? The mortgage standards changed. The criteria changed. So now the criteria is set up so you really have to be able to qualify for a loan to get a loan. All right. So do I agree with him there? Yes, I totally agree with him. If you buy a home now, people always ask me, okay, well, do you see this house going up? Here's my question to him all the time. What's your time frame? If we're talking about 2 years, 4 years, or 5 years, it's speculation as far as whether the home price is going to go up. But if we're talking about 50 years or 60 years, everything is on sale. Everything is on sale. So when you're buying a home, what's your time frame? How long are you going to keep that home? Are you keeping it for 5 years, 4 years, 2 years? Then yeah, speculation. But if you're going to keep that home for 40 years, 50 years, or 60 years, everything is on sale. Now, somebody might say, okay, well, Khalid, this isn't my, as they say, forever home, all right, or this isn't my dream home. This is my starter home. So starter home, people usually live in it 5 years. So do you think it's going to go up or down? My answer to this is, it's not about how long you're going to live in it. It's about how long are you going to keep it? And what that means is that you can live in it for 4 or 5 years and then move to your dream home and rent it out. If you rent it out, now you have somebody else paying the mortgage down. Okay, so that's that. So let's talk about cons. So again, when considering to buy a home, what are some of the cons? According to this author of this news article, what he said is among the cons is the intense seller's market means buyers need to be prepared for bidding wars and to lose out on multiple properties before sealing the deal. I halfway agree. You don't have to get in a bidding war all of the time. There are different techniques to try to stay out of bidding wars. Number one is to try to be fast to the property and get your offer in. Okay, that's one thing that you can do to try to avoid a bidding war. Also, what you have is you have escalation clauses. There are escalation clauses that you can put within your contract to say, hey, I know this house is listed for $100,000, but I will pay up to $150,000. So you can put this escalation clause in your contract also. Number two, another con that this guy is talking about is he said you may need to reevaluate your budget or must-have list. Most homes sell over asking these days, so your dollars may not go as far as you hope. All right, so he's saying one of the cons about this market is you may reevaluate your budget or your must-haves. I always tell buyers there are things that you must have, okay? And there are things that you really don't care about. And there are things that you absolutely don't want. You should be clear about the two bookends, what you absolutely want and what you absolutely don't want. There's some people who they have to have a basement, or they have to have a garage, or they have to have central air. What he's saying here is to you may have to reevaluate those things. And I agree. Write them out, have what you absolutely need and what you absolutely don't want, and you may have to reevaluate them, okay? I really want a driveway, but if I can park in the back, I'm fine. I really want 2 full bathrooms, but if one of those baths is a half bath, then I'll take it. So you really want to reevaluate your budget, and you want to reevaluate those things that you must have. The third thing that he's saying that's a con for buyers is you can see your property value decline after you close once the market cools off, but experts say a trend towards foreclosure is not on the horizon. And if you're buying your forever home, the value should eventually recover. Prices of homes go up and down, just like the stock market, go up and down, up and down, up and down. The difference is that there's not a ticker symbol on your home. So people usually check the price of their home after years. So in this, what he's saying is that once you buy your house, there may be a short decline, but I mean, I don't know the future. This guy doesn't know the future. I just had sellers cash out. They were only in their house about 2 or 3 years and cashed out. When I say cashed out, cashed out. So this is not necessarily true, but if the market does cool off, again, it depends on when your time horizon is. What's your time horizon? If you're moving into a home and it's your home, what's your time horizon? If you're talking about 2 or 3 years, yes, it's speculation. But if you're talking about 40, 50, 60 years, everything is on sale. Everything's on sale. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Now, okay. Now we're going to talk to my sellers. All right. What you should consider if you want to sell your home. All right. So the author says, if you're looking to sell your home right now, you shouldn't have too much trouble. The real issue could be what happens on the other side of the transaction. When you go to purchase your next place to live, you'll be joining the crumb of eager buyers competing for the limited number of available properties. So what he's saying is there's probably not a better time to sell your home. So some of you have investment properties. If you have an investment property or you're a tired landlord, this is the perfect time to sell that home. What he's talking to are people who are living in their home. If you're living in your home and you're looking to buy another home, it's probably not a better time to sell your home. But the crux to that matter is that on the other side of the transaction, you're going to join the buyers out there who are looking for it. And that depends on your realtor. Okay, that depends on your realtor. I have a blueprint as far as to find buyers' homes. Okay, not to get in a bidding war, but if we do, I got tricks up my sleeve, baby. I got tricks up my sleeve. So I'm not looking to get into a bidding war, but if we do, I got some secrets. All right. So what are the pros? So according to this gentleman, what are the pros of selling your home right now? The pros is, according to him, the pandemic has shifted priorities for a lot of homeowners, and many newly minted remote workers sought out more space. So what he's saying here is that because of the pandemic shift in priorities, for a lot of homeowners. A lot of homeowners realize that they need space. Before this, you had the minimalist movement, and it's like, hey, I want as least space as possible so I don't have to pay, so I can pay as least as possible. But when the pandemic shifted, especially with people with children, they realized I need space. So they're looking to buy homes with bigger spaces. Number two, it says, although more people wanted to move, the number of listings did not keep up, which forced prices up. A great thing for sellers. Yes, there's a dearth of homes out there. So since there's a dearth of homes out there, supply and demand. The supply is low, the demand is high. So if you're looking to sell your home, there's probably not a better time to sell your home. Number three is buyers have had to offer more and more to compete, and many even waived conditions like inspection and appraisal contingencies in their contract. So remember, I was telling you that there are ways to get your money back. Appraisal contingencies, FHA, and also inspection contingencies. Well, if you're looking to sell your home, a lot of people out there are so desperate to get a home that they're foregoing the appraisals and they're waiving the inspections. So again, if you're selling your home, it's probably not a better time to sell your home. Number four is many housing experts think we're near the top of the market in terms of price. So it's a great time to sell overall. And again, these experts kind of say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over until they're right. I know that there are people who've been calling for a housing crash for like the last 5 or 6 years. They won't promote that, but they will promote when it actually does crash. When it crashes, who knows whether it'll be this year or 5 or 10 years from now. But my point being that they're saying that we're at the top of the market, so it's a great time to buy. And again, if you're looking to buy, I got you. Now, what are some of the cons of selling your home right now, according to this article? This guy says selling is easy, but finding another home is hard, especially for people looking to downsize, because they may find themselves in an even more competitive market segment. And this goes with most things. When you're buying something, when you're at the low tier, it's more competitive. It's like that at the housing market also. There's going to be more people in the market for $100,000 and $200,000 homes versus $400,000 and $500,000. So what he's saying is that if you sell your home, now you have to buy a home. And he's saying, oh, well, that may be a little bit challenging. It's challenging for some realtors, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but again, I have a blueprint here where to find homes for buyers and get them in there. All right, he says one of the other cons is housing prices are up by more than 17% since last year, according to the National Association of Realtors, which means the proceeds from your sale won't go as far when you make the move to your next purchase. Okay, so he's saying, okay, yeah, on the one end, you're going to sell your home and you're going to get as much as possible. But when you try to buy a home, that other seller is going to be trying to get as much as possible also. So it is kind of a give and take. The last con that this article is saying is low inventory, high prices, and high rents may make it hard to find your next home. It will be challenging. I wouldn't say hard. It will be challenging, but you can do it. You can definitely do it. You just got to find the right person. You got to find a realtor who has relationships with other realtors. You have to have a realtor who has time to get out there and comb through the MLS and send you off-market properties also. You got to find a realtor who's vested in your best interest, okay? And there's a number of other things. And you need to find somebody that's seasoned also, okay? All right, so there you have it. We just broke down real fast. Just took us 20 minutes. We broke down real fast, according to this article, what to consider if you want to buy a home and what you want to consider if you want to sell your home, okay? Again, this is Khalid Nathan Aleem. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate, I got you. And if you do want to, I don't know if the ticker is coming down here. I programmed it here, but I don't know if it's coming down. But if you do want a free real estate consultation, meaning that if you're maybe looking to buy or looking to sell, you can hit me up. The ticker symbol down there, it has, it should have what you can click on to get on my calendar. But if not, let me do this. Let me put it in the comments. And I hope this comment comes up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yep, you would go to my Calendarly, and you will go on there and you can pick a time so we can talk, of course, via video. We can sit down, we can talk about your situation, okay? Again, it's Khalid Nathan Aleem. I'm out.